7,000 Blue Jackets descend upon Lincoln. Future ag leaders come together at the 97th FFA Convention.
Being here and hanging out with friends.
We visit with students and learn how they're here to celebrate every moment. Plus, in the week's other ag news, it's not just farmers pushing for expanded ethanol markets. We hear why retailers think E15 should be law of the land. And we remember a gentle-natured ag leader whose passion took root and flourished. From hybrid advancements to QVC pitchman to a highly regarded lecture series, we pay tribute to Keith Heuermann. It's time to grow. Taking time to enjoy every moment. 7,000 future ag leaders come together at the 97th FFA Convention. With this year's theme, Every Moment, students competed in a variety of contests, attended leadership workshops, and participated in hands-on learning experiences that highlight the impact of agriculture. Much more than future farmers, these are future leaders on the farm and ranch, in their communities, and beyond. And the convention is a springboard to launch them into success. We'll have much more throughout the show, but first, a look at tariffs.
I'm Jack Bartlett here in Custer County, where cattle producers are unbothered after President Trump signed a flurry of tariffs on U.S. imports. They say we've never seen such high demand.
We're at historic times in the cattle business. The cattle that are selling, whether they're yearlings or fresh calves or even on the slaughter side of it, have never been higher than they are now.
After a slump in global markets, Wall Street took a big hit Thursday in response to Trump's tariffs, with the Dow dropping more than 1,600 points. According to KRVN, live cattle markets are down 2.7 points, and feeder cattle are down by more than 4 points.
With them leveling the playing field of the tariffs, there may be some short-lived pain.
The more we can make and the less we're tariffed, and the better it'll be.
While Trump's tariffs will bring immediate hits to farmers, ag producers believe these policies will strengthen the beef industry in the long term.
But I think in the long game of it, it's a win for America. I think in the long run, it's a positive outlook, and I think that they're just overplaying it. I kind of believe that in the next, if we have 2 to 3 months of uncertain markets and pain, and people are kind of wondering what's going to happen or this and that, I believe it's going to regulate itself out in under this first year.
As far as the cattle today, we're having a sale. It doesn't seem to have too much impact yet. I'm sure we'll see some. Probably be positive as time goes on. Probably a little growing pains, but I'm pretty sure it'll be positive.
The grain and hog markets are taking the biggest hit from these tariffs as of right now, with soybeans down by over 19 points, according to KRVN. Trump has previously commented that tariffs is the most beautiful word in the dictionary, in his opinion, and has a history of signing them. So we will continue to monitor this situation and update you with the latest. Reporting in Broken Bow, Jack Bartlett, NTV News.
Meanwhile, corn growers call for resolution to the trade conflict. The National Corn Growers Association says about 15% of the corn crop is exported, so international markets are critical. Corn growers say they already face a troubling economic landscape as they encourage negotiations that would remove barriers for corn and ethanol. For example, they say Brazil could eliminate its 18% tariff on ethanol imports as they call for a quick resolution. Meanwhile, we spoke with the head of the Clayton Yider Trade Institute at the University of Nebraska about the unprecedented nature of these tariffs and the wide-reaching impact.
I think it is likely that a consumer in rural Nebraska and in many other places too will feel some impact from this, given how sweeping these tariffs are, because they impact every item coming into the United States from every trading partner that we have. The level of that impact varies depending on the trading partner and the item, but it is there, it is sweeping, it is very large in scale and scope, and so it would be tough to escape any impact from this.
I'm Morgan Ostrom at the Nebraska State Capitol. Lawmakers in the beef state take on the issue of cattle branding and if some feedlots should be exempt from brand inspections. The Nebraska Brand Act has not been updated since the 90s, and Senator Teresa Ibach says it's time to modernize. The Brand Committee protects cattle producers against theft. Currently, feedlot in the western two-thirds of Nebraska are inspected, but the rules do not apply statewide.
My intent was to create more uniformity in the feedlot industry across the state.
After pushback from cattle groups, Ibach amended her proposal, lowering the mandated fee to operate a registered feedlot.
Currently, most registered feedlots are paying tens of thousands, if not more, in fees each and every year.
The amendment exempts brand inspections for dairy cows being shipped to or from a qualified dairy and increases per head inspection fees at the discretion of the Brand Committee by 40 cents. It also expands the qualification for moving cattle from a grow yard to a registered feedlot.
I would offer that feedlots across Nebraska are an integral segment of our industry.
Senator Tanya Storer is a rancher and opposes the bill, saying it's not ready.
And the amendments continue to try and fix something, again, without the input of key stakeholders in the industry, primarily being the Nebraska Brand Committee.
The Brand Committee says the legislature is problematic for a critical industry. Also in opposition is the Nebraska Farm Bureau.
Their policy outlines support for a statewide brand inspection program, which simply at this point and in future points is unrealistic.
Legislators did vote to advance the bill to initial enrollment and review. Reporting from Lincoln, I'm Morgan Ahlstrom, NTV News.
Corn-based ethanol creates markets for farmers. Now fuel retailers back an ethanol expansion. When you fuel up at Pump and Pantry, you're likely to find choices including E15, a blend of gasoline with 15% ethanol. Charlie Balselman says his stores sell it because the corn-based fuel supports farmers and is clean burning and cheaper at the pump. But there's a catch.
You can guarantee that we're going to have the product and it's going to be sold in our area, but you know, it does bring uncertainty into the market.
10% ethanol is the standard blend. E15 is allowed only with a summertime waiver from the EPA. And if those waivers aren't granted, Balselman says retailers like him face a costly problem, converting tanks to switch fuels.
Should be something that's, you think would be a no-brainer, but it's not. It's bureaucracy at its best.
Why do we not have year-round nationwide E15? Why do we have to constantly go through this waiver process?
Bureaucracy. That's the short answer.
Congressman Adrian Smith agrees. That's why he's proposed a bill to allow E15 sales nationwide year-round. No waivers needed. For Balselman, it gives retailers confidence.
We'll continue to push it until we get this thing handled.
Smith estimates it would pump tens of billions into the economy and create jobs in rural America. Plus, it's a boost for corn growers.
Whether it's pharmaceutical industry, whether it's plastics, I mean, the list is growing in terms of what a kernel of corn can do and still provide some fuel, still provide feed for livestock.
Balselman also highlights the environmental upside. Disappointed the EPA has been slow to act.
It's kind of frustrating that the one group that's in charge of dictating that is the EPA, and the EPA would want clean burning E15 that's good for the environment, and they can't seem to enact the rules.
With bipartisan support, Smith believes change is coming.
We have a lot of momentum, more than ever before.
For Charlie Balselman, it's a fight worth finishing.
I think eventually we'll get it done.
If the legislation passes, supporters say it will be good for consumers, providing more choices while also giving retailers more confidence in expanding ethanol options, while also supporting the farm economy. Nebraska's ag classrooms boom as schools scramble for teachers. I'm Steve White here at the FFA Convention, where there's a teacher shortage and it's creating challenges.
Connect with students around you.
High school seniors may be sitting by their future co-workers. Nebraska faces a teacher shortage, and it's impacting agriculture.
It's really quite a mountain to climb in terms of filling those positions.
Matt Kreifels from the University of Nebraska sees the demand firsthand.
Were you thinking about teaching ag before Shelby came to be your teacher?
The number of ag programs has nearly doubled in the last decade.
And during that time, a lot of those programs that had teachers added a second teacher and in some cases a third teacher.
Every year, some schools that want to start programs can't, or schools get by with a long-term sub as openings outpace graduates. Those with another semester or two of college ahead of them already have jobs.
There are quite a few people in my block right now, the teaching block, that already have jobs lined up for once they graduate.
For students, it's a buyer's market as they may have their choice of schools they want to work for, and they're trying to attract more who are inspired by FFA to fill the gap.
Yep, every ag classroom's a little bit different, and I can't wait to make my own.
Pipeline starts while kids are still in high school. Current teachers are asked to identify potential teachers.
I found my passion in my ag room with my teacher my first year, and I just want to help kids feel their passion and help them kind of discover what they want to do.
And then one day it kind of hit me, and I was like, man, that sounds like something I would like to do with my future. And just seeing how much energy the kids have in the FFA room is just kind of what inspired me to teach ag.
There are multiple pathways as two-year schools can get students started, and they welcome those in ag industry to switch careers and go into education.
At the end of the day, it's the ag industry that's screaming for people to come into the profession. Our teachers are the front door to the ag industry for students.
And the growth isn't slowing. Nearly 220 schools now have ag programs, plus many teachers are retiring, and it's up to the next generation to answer the call.
I just can't wait to help grow those future leaders in agriculture.
And while there are challenges, those I've spoken with say it also shows the upside, and that's the belief in the future of agriculture. Stay with us for more from the Nebraska FFA Convention. Catching up with some Ord FFA members. These guys are part of the Vet Science team. Drew, Vet Science, what's your contest all about?
So you take a written test and you do a lot of identification of parasites, tools, and animal breeds, and then you do 2 practicums, and that's pretty much it.
So you got to know your stuff. I mean, who wants to tell me, like, do you guys put a lot of time in just studying, getting ready for this?
Yeah, it's a lot of practicing, going over identification.
Now, hopefully you guys have some time just to have some fun. Let's Kipton, is this something you've been looking forward to, just being here at this convention?
It has been. I've been at state convention before, and I know personally that it's a very fun experience to be at.
Because you have some family members who have been around this world, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
All my siblings have got their state degrees here in Lincoln and have competed in multiple competitions.
Do you even have an ag teacher maybe in your family?
Yeah, my sister's my ag teacher, so you can never escape it.
His sister is his ag teacher, if you didn't catch that one. Who's your other teacher?
Dave Ferentz. He's probably one of the best ag teachers we have around here.
Yeah, he's really good about seeing the potential that everyone has, and he makes sure to tell you about it.
I'm joined by Mr. Phil Simpson from Burwell High School, longtime ag educator. To be here with these kids, what is this experience like for a kid to be here for a couple of days in Lincoln doing all this?
Well, it's a great experience for them to get to come. You know, there's tremendous opportunities to find out about the different careers in agriculture. They learn leadership skills. They get to come and highlight, you know, the hard work they put in.
One thing that's really been neat is the explosion of new programs. We've added 75 to 100 new teachers in the last 10 years. You're from one of those established schools.
Right.
Is it kind of neat to see a lot of the other schools that have not had a program kind of join the ranks of ag education?
It is neat, you know. People are realizing the benefits of the career and technical education fields and agriculture. You know, our state's largest industry, the field of agriculture, and they want that. You know, they want to be part of that. And the schools are expanding. They realize the opportunities for their students and keep growing. You know, 10 to 12 chapters a year it seems like we're adding, and we need teachers. We need good qualified teachers to come and fill that, because I'm not that far away. I can retire in a few years and need someone to come in and replace me, so that would be great.
And the neat thing about ag education is what you're able to do in terms of hands-on, whether you've got some schools maybe it's welding, some schools maybe they really have an emphasis on animal science.
And, you know, I'm Burwell, Nebraska, right on the verge of the Sand Hills, so I guess my strength, we're very hands-on with range evaluation, range judging, the rangeland types of things, and then in the animal systems, livestock judging, livestock management contest, and also in some welding types of things, some ag mechanics. So, you know, things that the kids are going to be to utilize on their farms and ranches right there at home. So.
Plus, just the leadership experiences, and for those students that earn that state degree and get to walk across the stage, what do you think that means to a young person?
Well, it's an accomplishment. It's the highest degree. It's the highest honor they can earn at the state level is that state FFA degree, and it comes with work. It's not just a given thing. They have to have so much money earned. They have to put hours in. They have to do community service to earn that degree. So it's not just something that's handed to them. They have to put some time and work in them. And that's life skills. It's record keeping. It's learning financial record keeping. It's keeping track of things that you do. So it's great. Just great life skills that those kids, leadership skills that they're going to be able to take out and apply in their world.
And later we remember a pioneer in Nebraska agriculture, a TV pitchman for popcorn and hybrid seed salesman. We pay tribute to the late Keith Heuermann. Our Grow Weather Outlook is next.
Well, this week's drought monitor was released, and there's kind of a mixed bag here. Some reductions, some improvements across the Central Plains. Take a closer look at the state of Kansas, where there were more reductions compared to improvements. 8.5% now in no drought. And of course, abnormally dry makes up for the other 91.5%. Both of those categories about a 1.25% reduction compared to last week. So not too bad though. Moderate drought now stands about 59.25%, a 2.5% deterioration compared to last week's report. Severe drought still standing at 2.38% precisely, same as last week. The good news is still no extreme or exceptional drought across the state of Kansas. Moving up north to Nebraska, where no drought just accounts for about 1.25% of the state in the far southwesternmost part, about a 0.5% reduction compared to last week's report. Meanwhile, abnormally dry accounts for the remaining 98.75% of the state. Moderate drought about 75.2%, the same as last week's report. Meanwhile, severe drought did see a slight improvement. 37% of the state now in that category, a 5.25% improvement compared to last week. Actually did see a slight improvement in the extreme category as well. Now stands about 6.5%, a 1.75% improvement compared to last week. As far as temperatures go for the rest of April, the latest outlook released there, pretty normal looks for really all of Nebraska, most of Kansas, maybe southwestern Kansas looking at slightly above normal temperatures. Southeastern Kansas maybe looking at slightly above normal precipitation values for the rest of the month. Otherwise, average totals expected for the rest of Kansas and all of Nebraska. As far as the next 3 months go, remains unchanged from last week. Most of Nebraska looking at pretty normal temperatures, and most of Kansas looking at slightly above normal temperatures. And as far as precipitation goes, still expecting relatively dry conditions for really almost all of Nebraska and Kansas, maybe with the exception of easternmost parts of both states. So we could certainly still use up a lot of moisture out there. Of course, we have seen some as of late. Unfortunately, this next week doesn't look to be all that much as far as moisture goes, but it does look a nice week overall. 62 the normal high for this time of year, 36 the normal low. So next week running a little above normal for both of these, 72 the average high. And of course the average low this next week looking around 42. So here is your Grow week ahead, and it looks like a dandy, a very nice week in store after kind of a cooler but somewhat warmer weekend. It was a little bit warmer today, but the temperatures continuing to get warmer here as we head into the next week, even potentially pushing 80 towards the end of the week. Only rain chance maybe late Tuesday into early Wednesday, but it looks like a nice week overall. Maybe kind of ties into our Grow proverb here. If the sky beyond the clouds is blue, be glad. There's a picnic for you. There might be some wind some days, so you may have to strap down the potato chip bag if you do, in fact, go on a picnic. But go on a picnic. It looks like a nice week. Have some fun outside. Well, that is your Grow Weather report for this week. Stay tuned next week when once again it'll be time to grow.
I got some interest in what we could really be doing if we had hybrid seed corn.
We remember the legacy of Keith Heuermann. Giant in Nebraska agriculture has died just shy of his 100th birthday. I'm Steve White. Keith Heuermann leaving behind a legacy of innovation.
I got some interest in what we could really be doing if we had hybrid seed corn.
Born in Phillips in 1925, he founded Prairie Valley Hybrid with his father and brother, pioneering early single-cross hybrids in 1957.
And one of the things we did, we always had a little ad in the Nebraska Farmer. And we just ran that continuously. It didn't cost hardly anything to do it. And through that, we kept picking up dealers.
After selling the company, his entrepreneurial drive never faded as he launched BKH Popcorn. And in the early days of shopping channel QVC, he sold popcorn all over the country.
They put them up for sale, and they sold them for less than 4 minutes. They selected our popcorn as the best new product from Nebraska. And we actually ended up being vendors on QVC for 11 years.
Keith's impact extends beyond the farm, providing leadership in community organizations and generous support of education, including the lecture series that bears his name at the University of Nebraska. Former Chancellor Ronnie Green said Heuermann was one of the first people he met when he took over the ag program. Green recalls Heuermann as a quiet, gentle, unassuming farmer from Hamilton County. Green says the Heuermann Lecture Series is the most significant of its kind in the world.
Those lectures really brought forth the awareness, I thought, better than anything else that I know of. As, look, we better start thinking, how are we going to do this? What's it going to take to get it done?
A devoted family man, he leaves behind his wife of 62 years, Norma, and their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. One thing that stands out about Keith, his passion for education. He was fond of saying, and education is the one thing no one can take away. Fitting words here at this hub of ag education as we wrap things up at the FFA Convention. And we'll see you back here again next time as we see how agriculture makes Nebraska grow.